Alright, the time is 6:30. I'll call this meeting, work session of the mayor and council to order. First, we'll go over tonight's regular agenda. We have the invocation, the announcements, the pledge of the flag. For ceremonial matters, we have the park department here that will be receiving their award officially for Best of Gwinnett. And will the gas be here today? Yes, to proclamation. We have our minutes. There was an issue with the minutes the last time. We put off the approval of those minutes. Does anybody have any questions or objections to the minutes as corrected?
Only comment, the entire minutes, they were lumped up on one side. Yeah, there was a meeting that I did not attend about a declaratory judgment. If you can strike my name out of that.
So we'll take a vote on the minutes then at the appropriate time. Invited guest, Mr. Ewing, will not be here tonight, so he's off our agenda. We'll have a report from Ms. Steele on the Parks and Recs, and Mr. Whitaker will not be here tonight, so that is also off the agenda. We have our consent agenda, no items under our consent agenda. Old business, we'll have second reading on the growler ordinance. Any questions, changes, objections to the growler ordinance? That will then bring us to our first readings. We'll have several first readings. These will all be waived and placed on our January 28th agenda unless there's an objection. We have first reading on chapter 6 concerning the wine in the art shop. Does anybody have any questions about this? We briefly discussed it in our work session. We have first reading on ordinance clarifying the scope of the mayor's authority to participate in administrative affairs pursuant to section 3.10E of the city charter. Has this been advertised as a change to our city charter? Has this met the 60-day advertising requirement?
That was actually not a charter change. It's the charter itself gives the council the authority to adopt an ordinance. The next three are.
Have those been advertised?
They are set to be advertised in the legal section this Thursday, the following Thursday, and then the Sunday advertisement after that, which is the requirement. It's 3 consecutive weeks prior to the final adoption of the ordinance changes.
You said it's going to be this Thursday, next Thursday, and Sunday?
Yeah, the following Sunday.
Does anybody have any questions over item C?
Only that I would like that a motion made, seconded, and voted on that.
And that's, Mayor, he's talking about D, E, and F.
Correct.
It really, the home rule statute requires a vote on the first reading of those.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on item number C? Okay, moving on to D, consideration of home rule ordinance to add section 5.16C to the charter of the city of Snellville. Does anybody have any questions over that?
Once again, I just like it broken out and motion seconded and voted on.
Any other questions? Item number E and F. Under new business, we have the economic development commitment statement. I know that Councilman Manuel sent some comments to that. I haven't had a chance to read those yet, so I'll be withdrawing my sponsorship of that agenda item and placing it on a future agenda. B, mayor's nomination, council's confirmation of Jack Poles for the DDA. You all received his application some time ago. Does anybody have any questions or comments about Mr. Poles? C, election of mayor pro tem for 2013. Any discussion? Consideration action on a resolution of Lower Johnson Lake Dam. Councilman Sabag?
Yeah, well, there were a lot of email messages exchanged and a lot of discussions about the Lower Lake. And the resolution as it's being drafted, or it has been drafted, is not what I'd asked for. Therefore, I'd like to postpone or have it removed from the agenda tonight and have the right language put in there, because what's in there is not what we discussed.
So you're withdrawing your sponsorship of that item?
I like to have it, I like that, we'll discuss it during the week, possibly, or next week, we'll discuss possibly a meeting of the minds about what really needs to be done. And while on that topic, I'd like to ask the city manager to hand me or give me a videotape or video CD or DVD of the closed circuit TV of the testing of that pipe underneath the street. We need to come to some sort of understanding. What is it called? Is it called a pass-through pipe? Is it called a drainage pipe? Or is it called a golden pipe? I mean, I need to understand. Each time I say something about that, I have people looking at me with an RCA dog look that they don't know what I'm talking about. It's the bridge. There's a pipe underneath there that runs the water through it. I need to see what studies we have. I need to look at that closed circuit TV.
You watched me on bridge, there's not a bridge.
It's not a bridge, it's street, it's
It's with a
a pipe under it. I want to.
culvert, like a culvert pipe.
I'll-
I would think if you just say the pipe under the street, it all know.
Okay, the pipe under the street, well, I hope we'll agree on that terminology. I want to see the closed circuit TV study on that and the analysis that came with it, if you don't mind.
You should send it off to all of us.
I will. And Councilman, I'd love to meet with you to talk about the resolution, because what I tried to do in its drafting was start with option 3 from the options we discussed at I think at the December meeting. And I guess include some of the other comments and points that were made regarding the contractor that was out there, putting some type of a time frame and an actual amount in there. So I tried to put as much as I could in here to give you guys something to go on, knowing that it would probably change. So I'd love to sit down with you and go over that with you at any time.
Fantastic, appreciate it.
Good deal.
And also, can I ask for a copy of the bid that shows the $95,000 cost for that, bring it down as to what the cost is?
I'll give
the
you what-
$95,000.
I'll give you my breakdown and the original bid on the riser pipe and just for the conduit as well as the riser pipe.
Right, I just like to justify where that $95,000 figure is.
Sure. And I'll also hand down, I came up with the analysis that Clark Patterson did back almost a year ago now, and which labeled the pipe work as critical repairs. So I'll put that in there also. Get it all out to y'all. Thanks.
Is John Davis here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
John, just if you don't mind, recap what you told us when you were standing over there in that corner about the health status of that pipe, something like 25 years old.
The pipe was in the ground from 1985, 86. It was in the ground sometime before that, so it's at least 25 or 30 years old. It's probably considerably older than that. We do have a video of it. The interior of the pipe is in pretty good shape, all things considered, but it does have some scoring and some rust gouging in it, so it needs to be slip lined. That's the critical issue there.
Mr. Davis, can you explain critical to me? Is it gonna get caved in the next 5 years? Is it gonna cave in the next 2 years?
Could.
That's your professional opinion, that's critical?
Yes.
Right.
It
I just like
starts
that
out bad and
confirmed
works its
with
way
you.
down from where it is right
I'm
now.
sorry?
It starts out bad and it works its way down from where it is right now.
Okay. I just like to have that confirmed by Mr. Edger and see that video.
The engineer's report that Butch has is a lot more specific than I am on it.
Oh, thank you.
Item number E, consideration action on resolution asking General Assembly support changes to the Snellville City Charter. Started to conduct interviews for a permanent city attorney, and I think everyone agrees that if we're gonna change our charter, we need to do it so it's long-standing and the city attorney needs to review it, so I'll be withdrawing my sponsorship of that and placing it on a future agenda before the General Assembly recesses for this year. Consideration and action on ethics complaint filed by Russ Musculture? sorry if I mispronounced the last name, representing Gwinnett Ethics, Councilman Mayo.
We just need to discuss it and figure out where we're gonna go with it. We need to address the issue and come to some kind of resolution in terms of the action we're gonna take.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Consideration action on resolution of confidence in Anthony O.L. Powell. Mayor Pro Tem Whitson.
I'm gonna ask that this be moved to the top of the agenda, and again, this is just a written form of what we passed on Wednesday night. Council affirming that they have confidence in Anthony Powell and that in our minds, that I'm asking for a vote, that in our minds, he is the city attorney.
Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Moving on then to the work session agenda. We have discussion items, our city emergency preparedness plan update. I think we've appointed a committee for this, and I have requested an update on what you've been working on.
We have Lieutenant McKinney in the police department has put together, we're almost complete with a first draft of the continuity of operations plan. My plan is to, when it is complete, and that will be shortly, to get that out to all members of the committee and then call the committee back in, give them some time to review, and then call them in to discuss their comments, questions, and any changes. We also have a meeting scheduled in the morning for to update our evacuation planning and emergency planning, kind of contingency planning for potential emergencies that take place in this building or any other city facility. So everything is coming together, and you have to remember that this that we have here, this continuity of operations plan, there's not another one in the state. So yes, it's taken a couple of months to get it together, but it will be the first one. So and I just want to thank Lieutenant McKinney and the staff for working with him on that. And you know, I would anticipate that this would be wrapped up and hopefully adopted late February, early March.
So could we put it on our second meeting in March for another report back?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Sanders? B, official color and seal of Snellville. Some of you may remember when we did our town center charrette, we also brought in the company to do branding for the city, and they kind of told us they didn't know where to start, and we had so many different things, we were going so many different directions. So you all know I've been participating in Leadership Gwinnett, and one of the things that's discouraging about Leadership Gwinnett is, present company excluded, is everyone saying the area that needs the most development in Gwinnett County is Snellville and the 78 CID corridor. What the niche is that all the cities are known for, Duluth, the music, Suwanee, their town center, Snellville, nobody really knows. We have a real image problem out there in the general public, and it's become more and more apparent whenever I meet with this Leadership Gwinnett class. So I thought we'd take the first step. We have several different versions of our city seal, and we have several different versions of blue that we use here in our city. Our official colors is supposed to be blue, and so I thought we'd first take the step in trying to decide what we want to use as our official seal. We have the, I don't even know what this is called, Melissa.
That's the city seal.
But I mean, what is it, the
Cupola.
cupola. And then we have this place to call home. This was the original one, and striving for the highest was our original city slogan, which appears at the bottom of the seal. But we're also known, as you know, we've been trying to patent and trademark Snellville, where everybody's somebody, and Snellville, where everybody's proud to be somebody. So I don't know if we necessarily want to take striving for the highest off of the official city stuff we use, so not to cause confusion. Suwanee actually has their official city slogan, and then they have their fun slogan. So maybe we want to keep it as two slogans. But I think we need to start somewhere, and I think that's the best place to start. The other thing was our color blue. If you look, we use all different shades of blue. South Gwinnett, all the high schools in the South Gwinnett cluster are blue and white. I don't know if we wanna adopt the same color as the schools in this area, but that may offend the Brookwood and the Grayson, students. The official color of the seal is PMS 3.
There was a number that were with it, I don't remember. Do you remember?
John, what was it, 300?
Yes.
300.
Fixing this,
So I don't know if we want to adopt that as our official color, but it's completely different than the color that's in our city flag. So I wanted to put all of this out there on the table tonight, so y'all can think about it, and then put it on a future agenda for us to maybe take some action on, unless anyone has any comments or suggestions for tonight.
Does it have to stay blue? I mean,
It could be whatever we want, but we have a whole lot in blue. We'd have to change a whole lot if we changed it.
Just ask.
Do you stabilize on a EMS call and maintain it? That's how I colors are, EMS code, I think.
And we don't necessarily have to go back and change everything, but it would be nice from here on out if we have some performance, when we order our shirts, when we order different trinkets for the city, when we do the name tags that have the slogan on it, I mean the seal on it. Anybody else have any other questions or comments for tonight? Dates for the sign tour. You'll also remember we went on our city sign tour, but we never went on the big sign tour that Mr. Davis was trying to organize. So I've asked Mr. Sanders to try to organize that for us again. Does anybody have any dates in the upcoming months that absolutely will not work, or a day that's better than another? This will be a daytime tour.
Could I just ask if we can maybe look to a Friday to do it? I think that was the one the city tour was done on a Friday. Does that seem to work better for everybody?
Works for me.
Is there any Friday coming up that does not work for anybody in the next couple months that they know of now? I mean, we'll send out a couple of dates for everybody, but is there anything that we should
A
definitely
couple
see?
of months in advance is tough. I mean, I don't know now what becoming.
Well, I mean, January, February.
I think they're all pretty much clear for me.
Not February 1st, because that's our chamber dinner.
I mean, I don't see anything right now that's coming up in mind, so I mean, it looks like I'm clear, so.
I'll make myself, wait if I have enough notice.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, we'll work on the 25th and then the 8th.
We have the ribbon cutting on the 25th for the park at 10 o'clock.
Do we go immediately after?
Do it
Be
afterwards.
together, we might be able just to,
Mayor's Day conference starts that night, so if we could just make sure we're done, so.
you see a problem with the van, the vehicle probably not. Okay, we'll shoot for that.
What's that, maybe we're gonna shoot for, 25th?
Yeah, is that a problem?
After the park, after the park.
January, right?
Supposed to be Saturday.
Only if it's the 4th of July.
I forgot.
And it's in Chicago.
Yeah. I don't know what to call it, Chicago.
Snellville 101, Councilwoman Kraus.
Several years ago, I believe it was 2010, I attended Snellville 101. It was pretty much a government quick course. Personally, I enjoyed it very much, and I kind of compared it to our Citizens Police Academy, which is so very, very popular. And I think, I would like to resurrect this. I would like council to just consider it. I've talked to the city manager, and I talked to Melissa very, very briefly, and just asked them if that was a possibility to resurrect it. And if, you know, they think it's a good idea, but there's nothing definite on it. I just want some input from the rest of you as to see if that, it would be with adults. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take D&E, the mock council meeting, and kind of talk about those at the same time, Mayor, if you don't have any objection. And try to, after we get a couple of classes of the Snellville 101, maybe have a mock council meeting, something that we're not doing here, maybe take the Falcon Stadium, the new stadium, and maybe say it's Snellville's new stadium. Kind of
Is this a council
see
meeting
how
where they
this-
come and mock us? Is that what this is?
I would just like to see
And I-
different things. And to see how, after they, a few classes, or even one class of Snellville 101, and see who's interested in sitting on a council and call it a mock council. Now, I also was trying to work into this to have middle school and high school and do an essay, but I understand that that was something that you were interested in, maybe at a later date, so I don't want to step
That's
on that.
something we already do with GMA.
Okay. Did you want it something very specific for here to have people do essays and to sit with us during a council, a real council session? Or is that
It's already a
something-
contest that's done through GMA. It already has specific guidelines and topics and everything else.
Do they pick one person to sit with you or one for each
It's
council?
based
member?
on grade levels. There's actually a monetary prize that they win,
Okay.
and then a visit from the mayor.
Anyway, I'd just like to bring forth some government classes and,
How often was the Snellville 101 class? How
Hey,
often?
hey,
well,
that
I
was
think it
something
was
that.
once, I mean, I went to.
No, I mean,
Exactly.
what was it scheduled? Is it like a once a month
It
kind of
was a
thing, once a
6 week.
quarter
I
kind of
believe
deal?
it was a 6, it might be a little tough. It was a 6 or 8 week course. It was 2 hours on a Tuesday night, I believe, from 7 to 9.
And then we went to different
We did-
departments,
each
and
department
each
was
department
visited.
would go over.
Right. At that time, I believe we were building
public
your
works.
building, so they went over all that. And they
It's
had,
actually
they were okay.
weeks of classes.
Absolutely. It's pretty much, it's
It's
pretty
kind
much.
of like the police.
It was something, it was
Okay,
something that
okay.
was instigated by Barbara Bender and myself in 2000, right after the 2009 election, 2010. Harmon Betty was very much a part of it. He helped get the
Russell Treadway
Sobel.
did a lot with it.
Yeah, he put the syllabus
did a lot of
together, and then
budget.
Russell Treadway, and each department had held it. It was very successful. I think they had about 14 or 15 students in that first class. I don't think anybody missed. Everybody was there every night. I attended as a councilman just to see how it went. I think it was very successful. It just got dropped after that first thing.
I don't think there was a particular reason why it got
I
dropped.
think it was
It just
scheduling
did.
problems and, other things came up that just got dropped. But it was excellent. I think we could do the same thing that we do with that we do with police academy. I think it could be, use them as a model. I think we could do the same thing and hopefully get people interested in the government, serving on committees, serving on boards and serving elected office.
Anybody here in this room that'd like to give me some feedback, please email me and let me know your thoughts. I'd appreciate public feedback, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Snellville Town Green, I believe staff is working on that in the upcoming budget, so we'll put that off until
Can you
further
think here
notice.
what that's about?
The plans we have for the town green that we had designed before, I have that on there to discuss.
Pulling out the part of the capital budget, completing the green, what it's gonna take. We'll discuss that in budget discussions.
Right.
Opportunity zones. I read in the paper where the Gwinnett Place Mall got this opportunity zone approval. I just wanted clarification if the URA met, if they approved it, and if we are good to go.
You already met and they did approve.
The expenditure, right? $5,000.
So what is needed at this point in time?
Right now, we've got, we need to meet with Ken Bleakley and his, I guess, staff member who's really doing the draft application. There has been some, I think, some miscommunication. We entered into an agreement with the CID. I talked to Jim about that. I think it's pretty clear that it said one or more opportunity zones, and it specified the areas that those would surround. The central business district, the town center, as well as the one industrial area we have to the south. We limited that based on the comments that everybody made, and now we just have to make sure that those areas are included in the application.
Does anybody have any questions about the opportunity?
What's the time frame for that, any idea?
I hope I hope, I mean, they've done a lot of legwork, and from talking to the CID, I think, I would hope 30 to 45 days, we could have it done and get it submitted to DCA.
Any other questions?
DCA has a 90-day approval
Review
period.
period.
And it can get, we obviously we didn't get it done for 2012, so we have plenty of time because it can get done anytime in 2013, and even if a business is already open, they still can declare it for the tax year of 2013, is that right? So we have until the end of the year to get it done to be a beneficiary.
It's just, the devil's in the details there.
Economic development update.
Mayor, council members, there's left a packet at your spots, been provided to the city attorneys. I'll leave it mostly for you, so it's a minimal report. I want to give you some information as we go into the budget cycle about what makes good economic development, and then point out to you a couple of things. The URA is meeting on January 22nd. The next one, and the second to most important one maybe, is on February 21st. And the invitation has been extended to all of you, and I want to remind you, the city manager and I are setting up what's called a state program managers meeting. That'll be downtown. We hope to have several state program managers, which are the managers that do the projects management from the state's perspective and level. And they'll share with you, be an opportunity for you to meet and mingle with them as well and talk with them about Snellville. And there'll be some opportunity too for you to kind of learn some more things about what happens at the state economic development level. Important, and there'll be a number of folks there. So I would encourage and encourage all of you to make sure that's on your schedule. And then lastly, tomorrow night, we've been working hard, and some folks from the Snellville Entrepreneur Council have provided much assistance and support. The city will be offering its first quarterly Snellville Entrepreneur Summit, and as of this evening, there are 90 businesses registered for that summit.
Good job. Well done.
Along that line, Aaron, I would ask that all the council members, I tried to get a link to you this afternoon, I did not have time, but there's a group that rates the communities in the country as far as community friendly and places to live. And I found it very interesting that Alpharetta, Georgia came in number 7 in the country. I think that's pretty impressive. And it says, I just want to read part of this. It says, near Atlanta, the so-called city celebration, referring to Alpharetta, loves to throw events throughout the year. Among those popular is the Alpharetta Arts Street Fest, the food fest called Taste of Alpharetta, and the annual parade for war veterans. And also a scarecrow contest, which we have here, which residents craft and display scarecrows for fall, and a holiday tree lighting ceremony. The sense of community from a grassroots level has caused an upward surge in Alpharetta. And I think, I bring this up because, again, economic development is important, but I also think that creating a sense of place is very important also. And I go back to the things that began in 2010, I think have come a long way with staff and with, of course, our farm market. Alpharetta does not have the #1 farmers market on the East Coast. However, Snellville does. So, I think we need to get out there and promote ourselves. Maybe we can bump Alpharetta off. I mean, there's much more that goes into us in that article than what I'm reciting here, but I would urge each of you, if you just go to yahoo.com and look at, and put Alpharetta, Georgia in their search, I'm sure it'll come up. But I was very impressed with it, and I see no reason why Snellville can't be just as good or better.
LCI update.
We've got some good news and some news that we're trying to make good. We have a new project manager. We lost Tim Matthews to a promotion. Crystal Dixon is our new manager, and we are working to train her so that she starts off right, approves our first drawdown, and understands where we're coming from. And her supervisor is helping me do that. But we are working with her and making sure that we're on the same page when we send our reimbursement down there. final reimbursement amount available for right-of-way, the maximum is $1,250,324. We won't need all that. The total expended to date is $1,319,000 on right-of-way, of which 80% of that will be eligible for reimbursement, which is right at a little over $1 million, $1,055,000 that we can expect to get back. And that there's one piece of property that Mr. Powell and myself, we met with the folks, the Tisma property, the Porter Paints property. We have about $100,000 in escrow. The latest appraisal for that property is about $30,000. So a negotiated number somewhere in there, we'll get some of that money back. So that's good news on the right-of-way reimbursement. Costs remaining, estimated costs remaining, we're finalizing these numbers, a little over $2 million. We got construction of $945,000, construction management about $50,000, lighting at the high end will be about $120,000, and utilities, which is a very large non-reimbursable number, is $897,000. I know you've heard that number in the past. We've tried to get that down. We may be able to get the phone company down a little bit, but the MC is pretty solid. And that is a max number. So the remaining costs are about $2 million. Available reimbursements, we're looking at, of that $2 million remaining, we can get about $900,000 of that reimbursed through construction, construction management, and the lighting. We have about $400,000 in this year's budget for the project, and you add the $1,055,000, which would be reimbursed on the right-of-way. So we're looking at remaining costs of about $2 million and a potential reimbursement of about $2.4 million.
Something that, you mentioned the utilities there, and in a meeting that was held with GDOT and I think Bobby Howard was there, and David and I were there, it was suggested at that point that that utility cost would be put into construction cost and then be eligible for 80% reimbursement. The thought at that time, at that meeting was, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the lady, do you remember? Amy and Tim.
Amy Goodwin was with the ARC.
And
ARC.
She's still with ARC. Tim is GDOT. He's moved on.
Okay.
Dixon's taken.
Because at this, there came a point where we didn't even know we could go forward because of that. And they said because it was, if we bid it separately as utility, then they couldn't help us. But if the contract, if that was included in the contract, the utilities, that they would not, one, they would not be committed to having to use Walton EMC to do that utility, because as a contractor, they wouldn't be required to use the Walton EMC, and that it could reduce that amount of money, and that amount of money could be put into the contract for construction and be eligible for the 80%. Now, I mean, again, this was what, a year ago? Am I misquoting that?
No, that was my understanding.
It's a year ago.
All I know is
Earlier in this year.
the latest update in the budget was August of 2012, and there was $0 for utilities at that time. And that's
Because it was in construction, I believe. If you just going to ask about that.
construction, the max construction was gonna be about 1.6 million.
Okay.
But that's 80%. If we spend $1 million, we'll get 800,000 back.
Exactly, and that's why they wanted the utilities put in that figure.
But Tom, I have tried that, and I'll continue to try it. But right now, they're saying utilities are our expense.
Okay, I think we sent an email.
Yeah, well, I'll have to go back.
Yeah, I think we both received emails of that meeting where they said that I'm just trying to help.
Listen, I appreciate that, because I know I'm behind the eight ball.
Exactly, but they said they could put that utility as long as it was considered in the construction. If it was broken out, it would be 100% responsible. If it was put into the construction bid or how they let it or whatever, that
Yeah.
they could cover 80%, because they even found money for it at that time, I believe.
Well,
So let's just get with you and try and
Then
build
we
that
had
up.
that meeting, the money was not there, and that's when we then met with Tim and Amy, and to make up for it, they found the additional money for the easement right away. So I think we're still at the
I
same
know
place.
nothing about, I wasn't part of that meeting, I don't know the meeting I was part of, but we'll get you the notes and also get you the email on that, and we'll see what we can do.
We don't wanna miss any
Right,
opportunity.
if we can save $600,000 to $800,000, it's imperative we do that.
I mean, we're trying to save everywhere we can.
Because like you said, they have $1.6 million for construction, and it takes us $1.2 million, we need that additional $400,000 to go towards those utilities. If there's a way to do that, we need to do it.
They have worked with us on right-of-way, as the mayor said, and they've
Mhm.
even added a little bit more into right-of-way than what that original number was. But, the original increased number, but,
Maybe we just need a reminder, I think it's worth it.
utilities
It's
are
worth
tough.
it.
And I asked Amy has sent me, probably 50 emails,
Do you know-
trying
do
to
you
get
know-
me up to speed.
Do you
so-
know what Amy's email address is? I wouldn't know off the top of my
I'll
head.
grab
Was it
it.
Amy Dot Goodwin and
Yeah, I just want to see if we can pull it up here really quick. And see if we can- Please, go ahead.
Okay, we will reconvene at 7:30.